If we do have a quorum, we're gonna go ahead and get started, so let's start with roll call. Or do we pledge of allegiance? The pledge of allegiance is called, call the meeting in order, and then go ahead and do a pledge of allegiance. Roll call, then pledge of allegiance. All right. Do pledge of allegiance first. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. All right, Monica Salinas. Out here. All right, Carlos Fernandez. Right here. Jesus Olivares, not here. Michelle, present. Joe Benavides, not here.
He's coming here.
Is there? Oh, wow, great.
Just in time.
Just in time, perfect. Luis Hinojosa, excused absence. Rick Laurel, not here. Mr. Arturo Dominguez,
Here.
Mr. Emilio Richard, excused absence. Mr. David Puig,
On video. Can't see you guys, but I'm here.
awesome. Online, okay. Mr. Tony Arce, not here. Mr. Carlos Martinez, not here, but he has representation, am I correct?
Yes, here. Karen Marufo.
I'm sorry, what's his name?
Karen Marufo.
Karen Marufo. Okay. Okay, Jorge Cavazos.
Here.
Jerry Jason Hinojosa, not here. Jerry Maldonado,
Here.
okay. No voting members. Juan Jose Garcia,
Here.
Eduardo Villarreal, here. Go to front, do they have, who is the representative?
Go to the front.
Yeah. Okay, Pedro Felipe Lozano Martinez, not here. Enrique Moran Romero,
Here. Eduardo Quintanilla,
Puerto
representación.
Quintanilla, okay. Y Comce Caro, not here. All right. Just housekeeping rules. Let me sit there. We need a couple of members that need to be sworn in. Jorge Cavazos, you need to be sworn in. I think you got your asterisk on there, so just listen to you guys go down, see, I'll talk to Mario Maldonado.
Yes.
And then also, the Port of Entry Advisory Committee, just because, we're having difficulty with the camera, I mean, we gotta sit there, recognize who's making motions. You need to raise your hands when you're making a motion, and a second when you make a motion as well. So whenever you make the motion, please raise your hand. And we'll move right along. All right. Public comments, are there any public comments? No public comments. All right, approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay. Up first and second? Okay, great. All right, quick agenda, looking great, so. Items for discussion.
Can I make a motion? Can we move number 7 instead of number 6?
7 to number,
Can we move other business to the first item?
yes, would you like to, okay, who's the second?
Motion. Second.
Second? Raise
Second.
your hand, okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Great, we'll go ahead and move other business to, above items for discussion for bridge staff reports, Central.
Perfect. You want to move up, you want us to do the bridge report first, or you want us to do?
We want to do
El
the-
Hinojosa, for the record, from your Laredo Bridge Department. Do you want us to, we have Mr. Juan Carlos Gastelum here from Green Corridors. Do you want him to?
Let's let him provide the report, I mean,
Perfect.
his,
Awesome.
yeah, discussion first, yeah, so. Please,
you.
this is just to let everybody know, this is, other business. It's just for discussion. There'll be no action item on this. It's just more anything else, just for information right now. But we can ask questions and so forth, so. Mr. Juan Carlos Castellon?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Elsa Hinojosa, the Bridge Committee, Chairman. So we are Green Corridors. We have an intelligent freight transportation system that we want to implement between Columbia and Laredo and extend it to Monterrey to Laredo. So the system basically has three components: terminals in Monterrey, terminals in Laredo, and a guideway that joins those terminals with individual automated driverless shuttles running through the guideway. It's a 67-mile route from Monterrey to Laredo. It's seamless across the border, and it intends to solve basic cross-border problems such as congestion, long wait times, air emissions, safety issues, less road maintenance, as well as security for the freight.
I didn't heard that. For the record, this Rick Lauderdale is here, so go ahead. Sorry about that.
And we received a presidential permit from the White House June 9th. We are starting a right-of-way implementation project in Nuevo León through Highway 1 and somewhere along Highway or Road 255 towards the intersection of 255 and I-35. In a nutshell, that is the project. It's approximately a $10 billion investment throughout everything. We understand there are some questions, some concerns about transfer drivers. Those issues have been discussed and are understood to be part of the whole logistics equation locally. We are not taking all the loads from the other bridges. We intend to take between 20 and 25% of the freight, which should alleviate the other bridges and allow for transfer drivers to have more work and transfer companies to be able to do more drayage across the border. With that, I'd leave the floor open to any questions.
Now, before we get started, just a couple of questions before. We didn't have you on the agenda for bring up, so we don't have our full individuals here. So we needed a time frame. So we're kind of hoping that, I know this is we've been trying to get you here for several months now, and I'm glad you're available to present yourself, but can we have you give another presentation another time, or is this just a one-time shot?
Well, no, it's not a one-time shot. Look, I have a presentation that I'll be happy to share with you through Ms. Elsa Hinojosa, and then, be happy to entertain any questions, any concerns.
Are you presenting that presentation today?
Well, am I there?
It's not under the agenda.
So-
I did ask if he has a flash drive, and with your permission.
I have my
we can-
laptop.
I mean, you're already here.
Yeah.
Well, there's not much on the agenda anyway.
And that was the objective more than anything else is because, we didn't have much of an agenda. Some port of entry individuals are not here, and they have a lot of voice that they represent the industry. And we were kind of hoping that, whenever the email goes out, we have a certain time frame to respect. And if you can go ahead and, respond within our time frame so we can have this presentation again with the other members. Because they can see this on video later on, but at the same time is within us that are present here right now, we're more than happy to sit there, see the video and the presentation, in addition to ask our questions.
Okay.
But for future events, if allowed, if you guys can show up again, we greatly appreciate that.
So do you have any questions now?
Yeah, wow, there's a lot of
I'm
questions.
sure there is, but I think if you do your presentation and then afterwards take questions, I'm sure maybe the presentation will answer a lot of questions.
Well, we, will certainly disclose information that's readily available to the public, not any trade secrets or confidential information or things that are patent pending or, just so there are some things that we'll not disclose, but any public information we will certainly
like the location? Do you have, like, can we ask like where
We
the,
don't have a specific location, we have an area that we're targeting.
just simple questions like that?
Yeah.
When do you anticipate turning dirt, having their grand opening?
Yeah, it's not that heavy. Sí. Y yo soy bien caluroso. Para yo decir que estoy bien frío, güey, está bien cabrón. That's it. No mames.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, is there a way that I could see the screen? Is there a screen or a video that's being shown?
They're working on that right now. We'll find out in a minute. Once they submit the presentation, we'll go ahead and ask you again if you can see the screen.
Thank you.
No puedo ver. Sí.
Rick, just for the record, real quick, so you can hear it on. If you have we make after there's a motion, we ask that you raise your hand. That's it, just so they can
Yeah, so they
acknowledge.
can take, yes. Got it.
Okay.
Index. Hemos ido al rancho para toma, que metemos en un cuarto de sol. Sí. Un baño en una tina. Ya lo dijo que no lo uso. Dije, parecía tendita como regresó.
Mr. Puig, can you see that?
No, all I see is a City of Laredo chart in front of me, and that's it. But I could go ahead and hear, due to time. I know that everybody has things to do. There you go. Looks like I'm starting to see something.
Yeah, you do.
Good.
Got it. There
Okay,
you
so this is a rendering of the guideway. If you can imagine this thing, 167 miles all the way from Monterrey, crossing the border onto a terminal where you have unified cargo processing for joint inspection by aduanas, as well as CBP in Laredo, processing that in motion. And another terminal in Monterrey, well, where you can load up and release cargo coming in to Mexico, already cleared. These are renderings of the shuttles, the autonomous vehicles, each housing a standard dry van or a flatbed trailer. So it's standard freight, no oversized, no hazmats, and just standard dry vans or flatbeds that complements standard trucking freight. It does not compete with rail.
Who's controlling this?
I am,
If you
and
click on the page up, page down on the right, it'll be probably simpler.
I'm trying to get to the video, but no, it won't do it from here. So, just standard dry vans, standard truck freight. It does not compete with rail. It stays at a shorter distance than what rail is more efficient running with, which is 700 kilometers or more. And again, we have gotten from the White House our presidential permit, just as the other bridges have. And we are thinking of implementing this project through Columbia in the next 5 to 7 years. So I'll take any questions.
Have you started turning dirt yet, or when you anticipate turning dirt and have the ribbon cutting?
Could you repeat that question again?
Returning dirt, when are you planning on starting the project?
Well, we're gonna be shovel ready as soon as we have the Mexico permits. So we're permitted for the US side of the bridge. We still yet to be permitted for the Mexican side. We're in the process of doing that, along with the state of Nuevo León, through their own concession, and obtain and secure the right-of-way for the amortization period, so 30 years during the life of the project to get amortized. And once we get those permits, we'll begin to build the system.
Do you have a 5-year timeframe from when you,
From when we start, from shovel ready.
and how about in Mexico, do you have the land acquisition already all the way down to Monterrey, or you still got to?
No, it's a single right-of-way purposely, so that we don't have to deal with landowners all the way down to Monterrey.
San La Gloria?
No, it's actually Highway 1 all the way to Salinas Victoria. So we're gonna set up a terminal around the vicinity of Salinas Victoria. We're thinking of doing 2 terminals so that we don't congest the Monterrey metropolitan area, and that we are quicker in transitioning from truck to system back to truck.
On the US side, do you have an agreement with a landowner or a piece of land where you're gonna build your terminal on the US side?
We're talking with the landowners, with developers, again, along the 255 road, and we have LOIs to continue our negotiations for that purpose.
But these sites are not close to the bridge.
These sites are not close to the Columbia Solidarity Bridge, is that the question?
Yes, that's the question.
Well, they're close because they're in the vicinity, right? They're close alongside 255. But the idea is not to congest at the bridge, but rather move it a little bit further north, where we won't create an additional problem, but actually solve the congestion problem.
But it'll be close to the river.
I've been Nuevo León, right?
No, he's talking about the US side.
Yeah.
Right, that was the question, right? Is the site going to be close to the existing bridge? No, remember that the city just secured also a presidential permit to expand the Columbia Solidarity Bridge. So that, in our understanding is, it's going to have 2 additional bodies. So we want to make sure that all the logistics, all the infrastructure work seamlessly with, with respect to each other and not create a problem, a greater problem by putting everything together.
In the first presentation, they said that they needed 400 acres on each side. Is this still the same?
It's still the same thing, right? And that's an estimate just for a staging yard so that we don't create an additional problem while trucks come in to load onto the system or pick up from the system.
How long do you anticipate this project to take? 5, 10 years, 15 years?
In the build out is estimated around 5 years from shovel ready to
Just a bridge or the entire project?
the entire project.
Oh,
The entire project.
it's
So if you can envision, it's not built on site, but actually manufactured and you actually assemble. Think a Lego
Yeah.
project, right? That you come and you actually assemble.
That's how they did the railroad bridge, the new railroad bridge.
Yeah.
It's all in part.
Long spans.
Now, but going back to some of the discussions you made right now, you said that you don't anticipate affecting our industry, considering a majority of us represent the stakeholders, but you're looking at 20%. Do you already have clients that you're working with, or you anticipate working with the clients that we have right now?
Now, let me share a bit of the background. So this project has been in the works for a while. It started as a concept at Texas A&M TTI. And back with the initial prototype, like full-scale prototype that was built in Bryan, Texas, at that point, the team thought it was a good idea to start getting those offtake agreements and start working with shippers and carriers. And the team got some letters of support, no committals, but right now we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on how to solve the problem locally and also in Monterrey because it has a huge impact. If you've been to Monterrey recently, you've been through Aeropuerto del Norte, that area around Escobedo, it can get hectic.
Where in Monterrey will your terminal be?
Around Salinas Victoria, are you familiar with Interpuerto, that area?
Yep.
Okay.
So what's the capacity?
The capacity is full capacity around 10,000 vehicles per day. We're estimating between 6,500 and 7,000.
Trucks in those pods moving across the border every day.
Yes, trailers moving within these shuttles that are transported from Monterrey northbound to Laredo and southbound from Laredo to Monterrey.
How big is each vehicle or model?
Well, the exact capacities are being designed now and being turned into design to be patented, so I'd rather not give specs. But if you can imagine that you can fit a trailer in there, they're pretty big. There's actually on the prototype, you can see a full-scale version being run up in the test site in Bryan, Texas. And that's public information. It's on YouTube. You can look at it. It's a freight shuttle system. And you can get a pretty good sense of the size of they're huge.
Where does the city make the money?
The city makes the tolls. So the city keeps the tolls at the bridge. So for the city, it's seamless. Minus the maintenance costs, the build-out costs, everything's funded private.
So the tolls are not private. The tolls are
The tolls are the city,
municipal.
the cities.
So if you cross the 6,000, you'll pay
Right.
that to the city?
Right.
Mr.
Same thing
Hinojosa,
with Nuevo León.
Mr. Hinojosa, is this at a toll rate of a regular truck?
It's only
It
two
depends
axles.
because it will be 2-axle
Yeah.
instead of 5.
How about CBP? Are they on board with this? Have they stated that they would physically have staff in there to do the clearance, or?
Yes, we've had many discussions locally with port director, the staff, headquarters of the binational group. We've got questions when we applied specifically regarding capacity, regarding growth and current demand. We did a study on that and submitted that along with the presidential permit application this year. And that was basically their questions. They're supporting this.
But they're taking into consideration CBP's one government agency. You still have agriculture, you have FDA, you have all the others. Are they on board with this? Because staffing is kind of limited right now, so.
Right. So the one thing, again, there's a segment of the market that's perishables. So agriculture in Senacica may be a thing. We need to make sure that everything can get inspected as quickly as it can get transported along the system to become efficient. Let me give you an example. Flowers is an item that has a very short life at shelf. So if flowers get sent from Michoacan and they stop in Nuevo Laredo, or Colombia, but they don't reach Senacica in time, that truck needs to stay. So that you reduce the time of shelf life just because they couldn't get to Senacica. So we want to make sure that we can implement an inspection system along with Senacica to be able to target perishables, and that isn't something that just restricts, the customer, the end customer.
Do you have any other places that you're doing this, or this is the first place you'd be working?
This is the first one. There's been many projects thought out. A while back, it was far. It was Juarez El Paso. We were actually in Juarez El Paso in 2023 when NDAA 2024 came out. We took advantage of that because we know that presidential permits, if you have the list of requirements that you need to meet, let's say you have 1,000 things you need to do, presidential permit is probably the toughest one to achieve. And this statute inserted in National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2024, especially for Webb County, allowed for a fast-track permitting process that never existed in history. So the permit that the city has and the permit that Green Corridor has and the permit that Bridge 45 has happened very expeditious. Actually, 4-5 had taken longer in applying, but this allowed for 120 days to be processed through the Department of State and the White House for approval. So we came to Colombia Laredo, which was in the pipeline of projects since maybe 2006.
Oh,
Yeah, because that's how long it's been since this project was conceived. At that time, permits were not issued by or written by the president. They were issued by or signed by an undersecretary of commerce. Before that, it was Congress. But it took 10 to 15 years to get a project approved. So if you think, for example, a bridge over Otay and the airport at Tijuana, it's literally a pedestrian bridge over a road, a 4-lane road. That took 17 years to get processed. And so this new statute, NDAA 2024, allowed for a fast-track procedure. So that's why we said, okay, we're going to tackle this and put Juarez El Paso, which was not included in NDAA 2024, on hold. And it appears that now Congress may pass something for the whole border. So hopefully the whole border can get approved quickly. Currently, there are 27 projects from San Diego to Brownsville, Tijuana to Matamoros in the pipeline at the binational level. I'm glad to see that Laredo is at the forefront with 4-5, World Trade Bridge, expansion at Columbia Solidarity, and green corridors. So Laredo is not just the #1 port in North America, in the world, land port, but it's just going to grow exponentially with all the infrastructure that's being created. That vision it's so great. I see 15 years from now, Laredo is going to be just...
So I have 2 questions. One, what happens if they find drugs in one of those trucks? And number 2,
okay.
do you have to go through all the process like a new bridge, the environmentals, everything, engineering, you have
Everything.
everything?
But the way that this statute allowed for a quick permitting process is that it said, we'll give you the process and then
You do the
you
rest.
go and spend the money on everything that needs to get done. Okay? Before, you would go and spend the money, millions of dollars, and you didn't know if you were going to get permitted. So this is an opportunity for Laredo to just, expand on, this greater vision where everyone wins.
And the drug question?
Mr. Chairman, I have some
Hold on.
questions if you may.
Oh, I think there was a second question, the drug part.
Yeah,
Because
well,
yeah.
here's what we apply for and intend to do and are processing and will continue to discuss with CBP. It's 100% scanning. Everything gets scanned, 100%. Everything. That's part of the security component that we're offering. 100% scanning. And everything that CBP does, let me give you an example, for rail, where you scan, that will be done privately in Monterrey by Green Corridors and relay that information over to CBP between 3.5 hours to 4 hours before it arrives. So CBP has the ability and control over what's coming to decide, hey, take this off or don't send it or what have you.
So you're gonna have the NII technology just in Monterey, or you're gonna have it here at the bridge as well?
Both, because it's northbound and southbound.
David, go ahead.
Sorry about that, guys, because I can't see you. I don't know who's asking the questions, and I can't hear very well. But anyway, you had mentioned something about, I have a couple of questions. On the amortization, can you elaborate more on what you're talking about when you just started about, you have 30 years of an amortization, if you could clear that up? Amortization and what specifically? And then number 2 is on both sides of the border, do you already have the staging area, and how many acres would it take to have the staging area? What are you all anticipating on trucks per day on both sides?
Yes, this is David Quick, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Yes, so I think I mentioned this. So, okay. The Mexican concession title has a lifespan of 30 years, although the right-of-way has 40 years. We're being conservative in amortizing in 30 years. I won't speak to the financial model because that's proprietary, but it refers to amortizing the whole investment. Now, with respect to the acreage, we're looking to maybe 2 terminals, depending on how we can properly decongest on either side. We have also, and that's 200 acres each, and we haven't yet have pinpointing a place for maybe something along Mines Road. It turns out that Mines Road, according to TAMIU, a study done by TAMIU, is the 2nd most congested road in Texas. That being the case, it's not going to get any better. So it makes sense for something like an elevated guideway to help solve that problem. If it helps to solve that problem, we're definitely interested in decongesting that as well.
No, and that's not an issue at all. And no disrespect, you don't need a study for that. It's congested. I was just wondering, because I didn't hear, was the amount of acres that you think that staging ground is. 200 acres for 10,000 trucks is really not a large area for turning trucks around. I'm not in the industry. I work with the industry. But again, I'm just wanted to know how far you're down. I know you're putting this together. It's a fascinating undertaking. It's a neat idea for congestion and those type of things. Still have to go through the environmental, getting right of ways, all those things do take time. And I understand what you're talking about, but 200 acres for terminals for that size and handling 10,000 trucks, I don't think that's where it needs, or you're going to be at, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, again, the question, maybe I'm getting too technical on the question and answer, but the question for the 10,000 was, what is the capacity estimated
Of
at?
the whole rail system.
Right, of the whole thing, right, the guideway. 10,000. What we're estimating to run is around 6,500.
Per day.
Yes.
Will you guys be CT-PAT certified?
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can come. The discussion with CBP is to become a tier 3 CT-PAT entity. We believe that if we can capture and serve CT-PAT freight, it would serve a better purpose. It could also help increase the CT-PAT program from a participation standpoint and grow that. That, of course, should help security. We understand that part of the issue of CT-PAT not growing more in, 2 decades, is because of the cost-benefit ratio. If we can certainly serve that, yes, CT-PAT is certainly a segment we want to serve.
The maps that I've seen are Monterrey, Laredo. Is that your end game, or are you looking to go north or go south? Or?
No, that question has also been raised. So we call it the sweet spot, okay? Why not just do, Lázaro Cárdenas, Windsor in Canada, right? If it makes sense. It doesn't, because that's where rail is just most efficient.
Okay.
Rail is the most efficient, cost-efficient form of transportation. Not everything goes through rail. That's why we have congestion at the border bridges. This system tackles congestion. So it's not just something nice to have to see an elevated guideway. It really solves a congestion problem that cannot be solved otherwise. Not even with autonomous vehicles. Yes, sir.
With regards to the Mexican customs clearance, will the shipments be pre-cleared coming northbound and southbound? How?
Southbound, that would be cleared southbound. That's the idea. The idea is to have the joint inspection. There are programs at Colombia actually, and also Juarez, at Zaragoza, Isleta. When we visited with CBP on that program, at least in Juarez, El Paso, it was very little freight being done under UCP. But we believe that UCP or similar project would serve this system best. If you're familiar with seaports elsewhere, you've seen CSI. So yeah, that could be something, maybe a hybrid between those two.
And sorry, follow up. For the intensives, would that be in your yard, or how, in case
They need to see something
It would
or?
be, there would be a special inspection station for UCP joint inspection at the terminal.
Okay, thank you.
The challenges with UCP is not really that, they have to get approved. On top of that, there's staffing on the Mexican side. So we've been pushing that really hard with CBP to move forward with that, but it's really working with our counterparts, and that's where the challenges are.
Is that CBP in Mexico?
And I'm,
Mexican customs,
yeah, Mexican Customs.
not CBP.
Okay, maybe if I got lost on the, on.
Because CBP on the US side is fully staffed, and they're having their issues on the Mexican side for the Mexican customs officials.
Yes.
And that's where the challenge is, that's where we're having working through, because we're pushing that on a national level, we're having issues with that. But going back to your question where you said it comes out there, so are you gonna let your pods go out, or are they gonna have to retransload it at your yard? When they get there, ready for destination for going up north? Because you're only stopping at Laredo with your pods, right? With your loading pods, right?
We're stopping, yeah, with the shuttles. So what we're doing is we're stopping at the terminal, and that's where the tractor comes, loads its trailer, and leaves the terminal for destination,
And
whether it's
and
here.
everything, since it's a private entity, you guys will be doing everything 100%. The transloading down to the trailers, right?
So it's not really transloading. The trailer's gonna come loaded from what I understand, and once it gets to Laredo, it's gonna get put on the ground, the fully loaded 53-foot dry van, so that the bobtail truck can come and hook it and take it, correct?
Pretty much,
So there's
yes.
no transloading from the actual physical
It's the same-
53-foot
it's a
van.
it's just a trailer inside that box.
Yeah, there's gonna be a trailer physically inside that shuttle
Containers in.
container.
So you need the chassis to go ahead and load it up.
No.
The whole
The whole
53-foot trailer.
53-foot trailer is gonna fit in there,
Just the way the 53-foot trailers are put on the rail.
on the rail.
That's the same concept.
And going back to you guys are you guys gonna offer this to all the brokers community out here to work both sides, or are you gonna just hire an internal broker and do everything 100% for yourself?
No, ideally, it's the carriers that are the system's customers.
For the customers, ultimately. So I have some
Sure.
comments. So the word congestion, I don't like it when we use it in a negative way. We cannot be who we are and not have congestion. There is a bridge down in the valley in Los Indios, Texas, that probably gets 4 trucks a day. They wish they had our problem, right? So I am not a fan of us using the word congestion in a negative way. We are who we are, and we couldn't be the #1 port without congestion. That's a fact. The way we operate as a port generates congestion. Ms. Elsa, at what time do you start seeing congestion southbound? At 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, right? We do that. The way our network operates within the trucks and the paperwork that we need, we generate our own congestions. So I also want to clarify another point. You said everybody wins. That's not the way some of our members see it. Let me explain there. We have some members that have both a U.S. entity, trucking company, and they also have a Mexican trucking company. So in trucking, that's what I do for a living, the airplanes, the railroad are the enemy, right? They are who can take some of our business away. And having a business hat on, we don't want to lose volume to the planes or to the railroad, right? With that same state of mind, once this project is fully built and it's operational, it will be a third competition, a third option that we could potentially lose business to, because those of us that operate a trucking company, we generate money by hiring a driver and moving the load from Monterrey all the way to Laredo. That's how we make a living, right? So those people will get affected. And yes, we also have to plan for the future. That's true. I agree with that statement. But in any business, we all want to grow with the future. If I have 5 trucks now and the future is going to require me to have 30, I want to have 30, right? I don't want to share the wealth because that's the business that I'm in. So we have to be conscious of how we use the language that we use. And that's I just want to clarify those things, you know, nobody will be affected, that's not entirely true, and it also depends on who you're asking, which leg of the portion. There are companies that only do what they call ruta corta, they only do Laredo, Monterrey, Monterrey, Laredo. So those companies that have invested time and they have trucks and infrastructure, they see this in a way of, I'm already losing business to the rail, I'm gonna lose business to the planes every once in a while. Now I could potentially lose business to the Green Corridor. So I just, you know, you and I have had this conversation before, but I wanted to be open up in the record that is a fact. You know, this is not, the support of the transportation community is not, there is no yes, there is no no. There's concerns, right? This looks very nice. I mean, this looks like the type of stuff you would see in a movie. And, you know, the future, I never thought I could see an electrical car, and there's electrical cars now, right? You know, the world is evolving. So I just wanted to point those things out. Right?
Thank you, Jerry. Yes, and look, I understand your point of view about if somebody serves a customer that's not me, I lose out on that ticket. But at the end of the day, the customer also needs a service. So the plane gives the service, provides the service to that customer. You know, hey, you're serving something different. You know? So you can't take everything. So Pollo Loco cannot serve hamburgers, right? So the customer demands a burger. You know, you're not going to say, well, you know, I don't want McDonald's in my area, right?
Yeah, I also think we got to look at, we're not going to be splitting today's pie in 10 years. We're going to be splitting a much bigger pie, as projections have shown, right?
Can I take a minute just to showcase the thing about the trader and the inside the? So I think it's. So this is what it would look like.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I think that's the sound of the.
They would open in the middle of the,
No,
no, they're just showing.
it's just showing. You're right.
So it's like a container or a full truck with
A
wheels?
container on a flatbed
Yeah.
means, you know, if you have a flatbed, Jerry, you've seen this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but back to my comment, I mean, the volumes are just gonna get bigger and bigger. And that's why we're expanding the bridges, but, a question, on the US side, I think we know that it'll be the same port, but on the Mexican side, will that mean another port number?
Another.
Because in Colombia and,
Colombia.
no, but Colombia and World Trade are two different ports,
Right.
and the Mexican customs.
240 y 800.
Yeah,
Right.
so will this be a third port?
It would be a third customs house. Yes, it would have to be in the Monterrey area. It could be a sección aduanera. There's currently one at Interpuerto, but that's certainly the case. So it would be a third. It wouldn't be the
Now, those Mexican brokers would love that.
Well, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of work for the very few customs brokers over there, so they're gonna benefit from that.
Yeah.
And then the one locally here in Laredo can be a sección from Colombia, to your point.
I have to agree with Jerry on the aspect where, you know, it's kind of rough. When we go to DC, we always hear that negative comment. I know at the same time is congestion is a big word that they use up there, and they should just say, well, we're gonna do that. And it really poses a negative, and whenever you see the bridge down or something, they take those pictures, and it's not a good look for us, but it's a good problem to have, knowing that we have that much volume. But, you know, it's just something that's just a tough pill to swallow for us, knowing that, you know, we're trying to promote Laredo, we're trying to promote more business for Laredo. When you guys go up there and say, hey, we got to alleviate the congestion, there's other methods than going out to trying to sell your project for that, you know, that makes sense, so.
Right. Regardless of what term it's used,
Yeah.
there's
Same,
wait times.
it's the same problem.
It's, you know, regardless of what you want to call it, right? If it's not congestion, then it's, you know, crossing wait time. It's and definitely getting from, one point in Monterrey across Escobedo, and it's like a parking lot. Sometimes even in the middle of the road, if you're driving to Monterrey, you're going to take 2 hours just to get through the toll. Again, it is what it is, regardless of the term we give it or how we address it.
I think, and just so that it could be on the record, that any progress of trade should not be looked at or frowned on. Is it competition? Get better at what you do, and it won't be. Is it alleviate congestion? Yes. Is it good for the city revenue? Yes. Is it good for us brokers? There's going to be more business for us. There's going to be more business, hopefully, for everybody. The pie is just getting bigger. Hopefully in 4 years, the pie is going to explode to be even bigger once these trade tariffs are gone. But new trade projects should be open arm welcomed by the city and all its subsidiaries and people that work in trade.
They are, but the human beings operating have concerns, and that's our job, to express those concerns.
Your Mexican human beings, which we're not in Mexico.
No, sir. My U.S. companies own entities both on the U.S. and Mexico side, and this is going to affect them, and they are part of my network. I represent their company in the U.S., and they are concerned, and they brought it to us as a concern because their Mexican leg could potentially be affected. That's a fact.
Oh, yeah.
So
definitely.
that's all I'm doing,
Yeah.
and that's why we're here.
Competition just spurns, better service, I think. So,
Just to welcome your presentation. Hopefully we can have it on the agenda so we can have more attendance in our meeting. But at the same time, I don't know, we got to look at the time as well.
I know.
Focus on
Sorry
that.
for taking
Not a
longer
problem.
than.
Well, you're
and-
good. I wish you well with your endeavor, and hopefully, you do good. But at the same time, I hope you can keep us updated with potential information in the future. Let us know where you're going and how we can either work together or see how we can protect our interests as well. So,
Well, it's really working together. Look, the vision is, and I think on his visit here, Senator Cruz said it, the big vision. That's why they approved everything from Colombia all the way to El Cenizo with 4 or 5. It's inevitable.
Well,
Right, Laredo
I
is
was just in DC last week, and we were talking 5 projects counting the railroad bridge. So with that being said, that's the most project within all the ports, considering the volume we have here. I wish you well, so.
It's huge. Thank you, Jerry. And look, we welcome all that, the concerns, the advice, everything. Yeah,
Thank you.
taking it in. Thank you.
Thank
thank you.
Anything else, please?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, going back to number 5.
You want us to finish up the other business, or you want to go back to the bridge
We'll
town?
go back to the,
Can we,
go ahead.
in other business, I just want to make a comment of the visa issues that we're having.
Please shoot so.
Again, it's probably a Mexico thing, but it affects our operation. As of September 1st, the Department of State gave directive to the U.S. consulate in Nuevo Laredo to conduct all the interview questions to the drivers applying to be transfer drivers, drayage drivers for their visa, to be conducted in English. And the drivers must answer 80% of the questions in English. So what does that mean? If they ask them 10 questions, 8 of them have to be responded in English. And if they don't, then their visa doesn't get either renewed or they cannot get one. This is not good for us, even though it's an issue happening in Nuevo Laredo, because 70%, according to our study, of the daily crossings here in Laredo are done through transfer drivers, drayage drivers. So if they continue this and not allowing them to exist because they don't speak English as of September 1st, then we could potentially have an issue in a very short period of time. There's a lot of U.S. companies that don't go into Mexico. Our drivers don't go into Mexico, and we rely on transfer drivers. There's a lot of warehouses in Laredo that bring their product is taken either to Mexico or brought from Mexico, a lot of distribution centers with these transfer drivers. So they are very much needed within our network. This is how Laredo operates. So we've sent letters to DC, and we've addressed it also at a state level where we want this to be revised and for them to understand that within the border zone, there is already an exemption for the English proficiency under the FMCSA guideline that border zones are exempt, right? But then they went and did this as of September 1st, and this kind of contradicts the whole border zone blanket that we had. And we're not asking for over-the-road drivers not to speak English. That is not what we're asking for. That we fully support that. Any driver leaving Laredo, going over the road, should be able to communicate with an officer in English. We completely support that. This is specifically only for the transfer drayage drivers that are here locally, that never leave the border zone, that only go from Nuevo Laredo to here, Columbia to here and back. That's an issue that came up this month, and it's something that we're addressing because we feel that it could potentially damage our supply chain locally very, very, very strongly in a negative way. So it's something that, you know, from September 1st to today, maybe they've denied or canceled, I don't know, 20, 30 visas, but that number will continue to grow because these visas eventually all expire or have to get renewed. So it's an issue that I just wanted to put on the table that it could potentially affect us very negatively, and we're working to try to see if they can, you know, keep that exemption for the transfer drivers so that those interviews can be conducted. Prior to September 1st, everything was done in Spanish, and that's the way it had always been. So just wanted to throw that out there and point out what we're doing.
I saw your email when I was in DC and I was having a discussion, and I happened to be with headquarters of Customs, and I explained to them that, you know, on top of the shortage that we have, you know, it's a big factor and affects us. And I was conveying the message that you had written down and articulated as well as I could. But at the same time, they gave me a contact, and I discussed that earlier, so I'll get you hooked up with, we need to, hopefully that's the missing link that you're working through, because I know you're working through your channels effectively, obviously, but hopefully we can kind of move forward and get that done in our favor.
Thank you very much.
Coach, did they stop renewing them?
So if you, as of September 1st, the Department of State gave instructions to the U.S. Consulate in Nuevo Laredo that to conduct all the interview questions for anyone showing up to renew their visa or applying for a visa that is going to be a transfer driver in English. And unfortunately, the majority of them don't speak English. It's never been something that's been required. So if they don't answer 80% of the questions in English, then they're not getting their visa. And they fail. So it's something that we are addressing as a border zone. You know, that's something that we are respectfully asking to be left alone, because these drivers that transfer, they don't go north, they don't even go south. That's the job, you know.
I think all that came out after that,
Yes, that
terrible accident in
Yep.
Florida.
That's how it came up, and even if you look at it that way, according to the news and the reports that you've seen of that accident, that person did not even go through an interview at a U.S. consulate in either Mexico or Canada, because he entered the country illegally, and he actually held a CDL from California. So that's intention of trying to fix that with this would have never prevented that. But here we are.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Do you want me
Move
to
right along.
finish
Yeah,
other
please.
business?
Yes.
Really quick, just wanted to give you an update on other small projects that we have or that were pending. Bringing you an update on the Riverbank Road. You know, we had a previous presentation by engineering and TxDOT. We did contact our engineering department. We have not received an answer from CBP on the options that were provided, since they didn't think it was feasible to do this road by the Riverbank Road. So they provided 3 other options, so we're waiting on CBP to provide us where within those options they want to build this road.
Is that done through GSA or CBP locally?
CBP. Yeah.
Is this the parking lot?
No, the road that crosses by the World Trade sign to go over.
To go to the import lot?
To go to the import lot.
Right, so it's not gonna be done off of,
It was not feasible. TxDOT had a presentation last meeting, and they think it's not a good,
Through the bottom, no.
yeah. They used it as a road when they were during construction. It's not supposed to be used. So they provided TxDOT other 3 options. So we're waiting on CBP which one is more.
We have meetings with them regularly,
So
so
we will-
you guys too, so we can kind of push that.
We will still meet with engineering and have them contact CBP.
Thank you.
Not a lot of land around there, is there?
No, it's just basically if you're heading south and you're physically on the road, you pass the World Trade Bridge sign, make a left after that at some point. So that if we want to go to the customs lot, we go that way and not,
Not through the bottom.
Not through the whole, yeah. But it seems like a simple solution. They just have to figure out which area they want to put it on.
Correct.
I see if he has to respond, that's basically it.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on that. Bringing the status on the border wait time measuring system that we brought up to you like 2 months ago. On our end, the city did provide the agreement. It was executed, was brought to council, was approved. We were pending on Department of Transportation to approve it. It's under review. Today, we received an email from Mr. Jorge Almada from the Department of Transportation. The agreement's still under review. It's almost finalized. They just requested some emails from management, city secretary, and legal to finalize it. So that way, they're able to already start doing the sensors and all that good stuff. They did a walkthrough. We provided them access to the bridges just to do a walkthrough. Once this is finalized, they'll be able to mount those sensors. Also want to give you some update on the empty signs by the Horseshoe on our end. We already received them last week. We sent an email on Monday to Traffic Department to help us mount the signs. They need the bigger signs will take a little bit longer. There's a big sign that we're gonna mount by our I don't want to call it the gantry, right? But that's a bigger sign that needs. We need to go through a contractor. It will take like maybe a week, but hopefully next week we will have the 2 signs in English and Spanish put up there by the Horseshoe, and they're gonna repaint on the asphalt where it says the letters empty. To bring an update also on the I-69 signs, we held a meeting on WebEx on September 4th with TxDOT and Engineering and Traffic Department. It was approved, those signs by I-69 on the gantry. I know I provided you some samples of the signs last meeting. On the meeting, they questioned the pricing. It was from $10,000 to $12,000 for those 2 signs because they were outside their bidding process. They had already bid out for all the signs that TxDOT's gonna purchase. So the price does include installation. They did provide that information. I know you all had questioned, we're still gonna pay for the signs, then we still have to pay for installation or labor plus maintenance. Installation is included. They have to go through their bid out process. It will take like 3 to 4 months. We do have to get into an agreement since there's a cost for it. We need to follow with legal with the agreement between the city and TxDOT. It's called an advanced funding agreement, and we will require traffic to guide us on how to work that agreement as well. But they cannot follow the city's procurement because it's the state. The state has to take like 3 or 4 months to do their bid out process. Then they will let us know who got the lowest bidder. Then on our end, we'll go through the required agreement, bring it to council, and follow our city's procurement as well. But it was approved, and I did show you the signs and how they were gonna look and all that good stuff. Any other questions that you want to bring up? I know you had a question.
Yeah, I did, I want to make sure, I want to see how far along you've gone with your study for the potential bridge toll increase, where you're at, and I'll let you respond and I'll
We've had a
follow.
couple of meetings. We should have it finalized by the end of this month.
Hold on, finalize the study?
The
or-
study.
Okay.
The study.
Not the potential?
No, the
Okay.
study, we should have it finalized by the end of this month. Again, it will address any congestion challenges, emission concerns. We want to have public transparency, education again to the public with this bridge toll study.
And I know that, taking that consideration regarding that, most of us are the users that are involved with, the bridge system. We want to make sure we have our input, we have our dialogue as well, just to make sure that, volumes are down. I mean, we're affected as well, quite considerably. And we just want to make sure that, we provide either positive or negative results and based on what the information.
And that will be
provided.
provided.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
Do we
through the
know what
study.
percentages the crossings are down now?
We don't have anything. We have maybe 3 scenarios, but it hasn't been finalized. It has to be reviewed.
No, I don't think you understood the
Oh,
question.
sorry.
What he just mentioned, the decreases of crossings. have-
Jerry has one
Decrease
industry.
of volume.
So on the northbound side, what we track from CVP, from our highest point this year between January and July, the highest point was March. It was over 9,400 and loads a day on average, once you add them all up, divided by 7. By the end of June, the beginning of July, we were down over 1,000 loads less a day. So that's something that, it's interesting because there's two numbers that they look at. You know, the U.S. government, CBP, reports the financial side of what they collect. That has increased significantly.
Oh, because of
But,
tariffs,
but
yeah.
because of the tariffs and because of all the additional revenues that they're getting. So if you only look at that number, it looks like, wow, Laredo's booming. No, we're not. You have to also look at the volume of full truckloads, and that is significantly lower. So all those points have been shared with the city and management already. They don't, respectfully, they only track southbound, which is completely understandable.
Which is what they bill.
Because it's what they bill, right? But CVP reports the northbound stuff, and those volumes are significantly down. And the statistics show that it's not gonna get any better until next year, and probably the end of the second quarter of next year. And that's just a fact of life. That is who we are as a country. We stopped consuming, and the products from Mexico went down. But the U.S. stopped consuming. So there's less products for us to move northbound. So it's a reality of life, so.
And every time there's a new list coming out, there's more items that are affected with tariffs, and people are stopping those particular commodities, so that's a big factor to take into consideration. And what we're looking at is, when we had the good years, there was like a percentage of 5% over. What happened to all that money, knowing that, you know, now we're down? We don't want to take the brunt by ourselves as an industry, because this is the biggest industry in Laredo right now. But at the same time, you know, it's just something that, you know, we just feel like we could spread the wealth and include other industries to make sure that, you know, hey, we all got to tighten our belts up.
Yes, Jerry mentioned, for southbound, we haven't seen a decrease in our daily crossings. We haven't seen a decrease in our revenues as well. So not yet.
Yeah, because it's the importing that's hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's
Do
all the other data you usually?
do you want to go back? We need to do a motion to go back to the bridge report? 'Cause
Yeah,
this is other
motion to
business.
bridge report, please. I mean, motion or?
No.
No.
Unless you have
You don't
any other
have to-
questions
you
on
don't
other
have to-
business?
No.
Just get to
Moving
it.
on. Yeah, let's go on, please.
Are we still on other business?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, just a quick question, and I know, you know, you've been super busy, you have so many things going on, but my question is also actually to help. I know you brought up that you all were gonna do a study on getting more efficient, you know, getting whatever the cameras or the processing of trucks and things. Has that been set up? Have you put a committee together already to get the study going? And what is the, you know, the timeline of getting that together and putting a proposal forward so the city could make that investment on helping my friends here in the industry move their product easier and quicker for everyone's sake?
That efficiency study has been submitted to management, and they're compiling all the departments, not just Bridge. We did provider concerns and where we need any upgrades or to improvise within the technology. So right now we are doing, we hired a consultant to do an audit to the current toll vendor, you know, toll system vendor. So they're working on that. We're waiting on the report. Whatever is the outcome coming next fiscal year in October, we're planning also to go out on bids depending on the outcome of the report, what is needed not only on the outside, but also on the front office, but called back office. You know, we need to integrate, go out on RFPs, and so we can get potential bidders, you know, so we can have a better toll system.
Right, and
Inside
has that consultant engaged one of the gentlemen that's sitting down to, you know, to sit down with them and help them with that study and what's needed for us, since they're in the industry?
No.
Mr. Puig, if I may, so the congestion one is interesting because there is technically not a study or anything that can be done to fix it. We as an industry generate the congestion in the hours that it's done. because
No,
of the
no,
way our
understood. But
network
my
operates.
question was more to, it was brought up that there was going to be a study for our internal equipment to help out with the efficiencies in our antiquated system, whether it be cameras or whether it be, taking in the tolls, those type of things.
Yeah, for
I-
the bridge system, yes, yes.
Yes, that's what I was talking. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
that's
I
the
should've
one
made
that's
it more clear.
ongoing. The company did an audit to our lanes, to the camera, the system that we use to make sure it's tracking down the correct crossings, the time and all that good stuff. We're waiting for their final report. Yes.
So
from that
my question
report-
again is, have they engaged anybody in the industry to help them?
This is,
with
there
that-
was it was an audit done with a contract for our bridges to make sure we're being provided a good service from the current toll system vendor that we have. To
Okay,
make
it's from
sure,
your existing, yes.
correct, it's from our existing toll vendor system. We want to
Right.
make sure that they're providing the services that are required. Yeah, for the bridge, for the lanes, yeah.
So once that they identify that there is an issue or
If-
could be, or there isn't, because we're using antiquated equipment, like you said the last time, then that goes through, the budget committee, and then what happens after that?
After that, we will, whatever is the outcome in the report, if the current toll system vendor is not providing accurate information, if maybe our technology cannot be improved because they cannot provide the services that we need in order to provide you all with more
Right.
high-tech technology, then they would tell us, this is what you need. And now we would need to.
Understood.
we need
And are
to-
they gonna come also when they do that report to the board? To our Port
Yes, we
Authority
can do
board?
that. Yes, of course, we can have
I
them do a
think it'd be a
report.
good idea.
Yeah. We will have them do a presentation on the outcome of that study and audit.
Thank you.
We go back to the bridge portion, please.
Do you want a motion?
You don't need to do be a motion, we just dive into it, no?
Good.
So we did email you the packet, and I do want to apologize. There was a mistake we did on the World Trade and Columbia Bridge insufficient U-turns. We had sent for August, the total change, we had $30,000, but there was a mistake on the amount. It was an oversight on our end, just so you can know. That's what was emailed, so we have corrected it. So on the current report for both World Trade and Columbia, combined on the U-turns, we had a decrease. And we're very happy to say it. We might not say it's a lot. I know last report in July, we had 183 U-turns. It was reduced by 62 for a total of 121, as you see there. So the campaign that we're running for the trade tag U-turns, it's helping. We had that campaign run all August, educating the public, using social media, with the help of some of y'all, to help us spread out the word, make sure they have their funds available, and a credit card on file and all that good stuff. So it's helping, baby steps, but we will be doing that on a bi-weekly basis using social media as well to educate everyone. So we saw a decrease of 62 U-turns from July to August. And we're still having the same process for those companies that still have a couple of U-turns. We still contact them, try to calling them to ensure they have that, to prevent these U-turns, and also last resort will be to suspend their accounts. We have also, happy to say that we've improvised a little bit with our online application. We were able to add, for them not to have expired credit cards, also for them not to be able to remove credit cards or remove the auto replenish. We were able to update the acknowledgement verbiage. So we're happy to say that. We were able to tweak it a little bit when they're opening an account or submitting. There was a couple of applications that as simple as a submit button that was in the middle of the page instead of the bottom. So they would miss that, they wouldn't click continue, so they would pile up, and we had to go back and delete those accounts. So I know it's baby steps, and we're working with the toll system vendor to help us this. Just to make a simple change, it takes 2 weeks. For us, it's very easy when you have a click button, submit, or, but on the back end, it takes like 2 weeks for them to have that. So we're happy to say
So
that.
it's not really our IT, it's the vendor that's
Correct.
having the issues.
Correct. So we talked to the vendor, but we have to go through IT, set up meetings. IT is the one that talks to the vendor. So they're the ones that understand their IT data and all that good stuff. So we tell them this is what we need on the application. These are the changes that we need. So we're happy to say that we're working with that. We did have also a decrease on the collected insufficient fund fees. In July, we had collected 21,747.50. This August, since it was a reduction on the U-turns, we only collected $14,251.25. You have your usual report for your graph for the World Trade and Colombia Bridge insufficient funds. That's where you have your 109 for World Trade and 12 for Colombia. Then you have your auto replenish visuals report telling you how many accounts have auto replenish. Your commercial and non-commercial. You have total accounts with auto replenish 7,634. That is something also that we need to target and have everyone, enrolled in the auto replenish. So that's something that we're also working with the company as well to help us. And we have our monthly update report for August 2025 on the World Trade Bridge Expansion Project. This is something that was also submitted in your packet. We're still on the environmental assessment. Happy to say we've now up to 90% complete. So hopefully the environmental assessment could be finalized by November of this month and we can move forward. This is what stalled the project a little bit. So hopefully by November, we're at 100% finalized with this environmental study. Your plans and specifications and estimates, texts are reviewed at 90% PSNE submittal, which has been transmitted by SEA on July 21st. So that's at a 90% as well. So we've been meeting every month also with CBP and with Mr. Sid Amilki from SEA. And hopefully we can move forward past November with the World Trade Bridge. Any other questions?
Comments, question, anybody? Move along. Is there anything else? No, that's it? All right.
Just the next meeting.
Schedule the next meeting, either October 15th, we're all good with that?
Should we, if I may, should we first bring items to the agenda before we schedule the next meeting and try to work with whatever we're gonna?
I think we should schedule it. I think we should schedule it, and if there are no items like today, they should be canceled because it's pointless for us to show up. I'm glad that he was here and you have information to share, but if that's all the information you have to share, you can share it via email. But, we have to have agenda items.
Well, going back to where we're supposed to do this, they're supposed to be done every 2 months, not every month. So keeping that in mind.
I think we all voted on wanting to have it monthly because there's a lot going on, but at the same time, we have that option to go every 2 months. But with that being said, like if we would have had this one here and we could, no agenda items being provided. But everything is being sent out in a timely fashion for us to provide any kind of agenda item. So if we don't respond.
And now we have to comply. There's a state statute that now we need to start working on the agenda a month in advance. So tomorrow.
How?
Yes, also the council agendas, the time frame, when we post, back it was 72 hours, now it's 5.
days.
Yeah, with 72 hours. Now it's like 5 days before. Then we need to provide a week for all the approvals from the departments to be approved. And then another week for the posting of the agenda.
That's actually a good thing, in my opinion, because putting up an agenda for city council Friday afternoon for Monday morning, that's,
Yeah. So this is the reason why you saw a couple of emails back and forth, a reminder if you wanted any items, because.
Well, I've already sent that information. I'd like to post that for the next agenda just to get a head start on the, hopefully you can provide that on the study for the bridge toll increase.
Of course.
Yeah.
We can add that.
But I think we should tentatively schedule, right?
October 15th?
October 15th.
And we'll have that item.
We'll have a discussion.
And we'll also send you an email in case you have any other items.
Fair enough.
if you want.
Okay. All right.
Move to adjourn?
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourn. Nobody want to second that?
You gotta raise your hand. Second, here, okay, you got first, you, right?
Yeah.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.